Welcome back to Don't Take My Word For It. Today we got Sean Thouvenot, Vice President of Branco.
Correct.
All right. Thanks for coming today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is my old boss here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot you and your brother were.
Yeah. Which one was better?
I can't say. That would be a violation of HR policy.
Oh, gotcha.
You were both equal and separate talents.
Oh, gotcha.
How'd that sound for Vice
Yeah, that'll
President
work.
answer?
That's very diplomatic there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Equal.
What is it? Is it Rich? Is that his name? That's the HR guy up there?
Yeah.
Or is he still up there?
He is, yeah.
Gotcha. He's probably been there for a while then.
Yeah, I think he's probably going on 10 years or maybe more. I don't remember.
Oh, gotcha.
Time flies.
How many employees does Branco have now?
Last time I looked, I think right at 140.
140.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people to manage and babysit.
It is. It's a lot of different personalities all in one pot. So yeah, it gets interesting at times.
Yeah. So how big was Branco whenever you got there, and what did you do whenever you first? Like you weren't vice president as soon as you got there, were you? Like
no.
You like worked your way up.
Yeah. No. When I started, I was a project manager, and actually they hired me once, and then agreed to go to work for him. And the guy I was working for gave me a big sob story about how he was going to lose everything if I quit, and blah blah blah. So I turned him down.
Uh-huh.
So then it was about a year later, they called again and said, "Hey, would you want to come to work for us?" And by then I'd had enough of the guy I was working for, and ended up going to work for him. While I was doing national accounts at that time, which were, basically go all over the United States and build different chain stores. So it was like Lone Star Steakhouses, Pizza Huts, AutoZones, O'Reilly's, that kind of stuff.
So is that just something you kind of grew up doing, was construction, or? No,
I had some family that was in construction, but we grew up on the family farm, and my dad was a farmer/dentist.
A farmer/dentist.
Yeah, or actually dentist/farmer. But,
which one made more money?
Yeah, the dentist part. So, I just always was interested in construction. It was either that or be a veterinarian. So, probably should have picked veterinarian. Probably still have my hair.
Well, is being vice president of Branco a stressful job? Does it wear you thin?
Oh yeah, it's something all the time.
Really? Like what? Anything?
You name it. It's when you've got that many jobs all over the country and all over the 4-state area, there's always something going on. Somebody forgot something. Somebody needs something. Somebody didn't get paid. Somebody, wants to be paid early. Material things right now are the biggest thing. Trying to get this, that, and the other. You've got a schedule of a project that's like a year long. And transformers are over a year and a half out, and that kind of thing.
What do you mean by like
electrical transformers?
Electrical transformer,
okay.
Like to get your electric to your building. So panels on a job we're doing here in town, they ship the electrical switchgear, and inside the panel it said, just a note in there, it said shipped short.
Oh gosh!
So it was missing 5 of the breakers to make the system work.
Why do they even send it?
Yeah, because they could bill for it.
Oh,
yeah, they needed a paycheck.
Yeah.
We'll get you later.
Yeah.
How do you plan a job like that when you know you're not going to get the materials for it for a year? How do you plan to start the work?
Well, the best thing you can do is make sure that you have everything known that you're going to be delayed on. And then you basically get with the owner. Being open and upfront is the best way you can be. When you try to hide it and you act like you just got the delay, halfway into the project, oh, by the way, we're not going to get this.
Yeah.
Tell them up front. A smart owner would delay the project start because it doesn't look good for them to have a building done and sitting there and no power, or no air conditioning or whatever.
The nice part about that, I imagine, is that's not a thing that another, some of your competition is going to have the same delay, so they're not going to want to leave you for somebody else just because of that.
No, they're not. So.
That's good.
So, like you said, I think you caught you early. You started there, and it was at like a $10 million a year revenue.
I think we're about $10 million. We worked around here doing smaller school jobs and some treatment plant stuff, and that was about it, really. We do a little bit of MoDOT stuff, but not much. We were just kind of a little and it was a family business at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And we've grown from a family business to a business family. So I bought into the company being a non-family member. And then last year we decided to bring 4 of our key people in as well as stockholders.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool. So basically all the top dogs up there, they own part of Branco now?
correct.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's good to see you grow. What was there like a certain time where you're like 10 million, you just kind of plateaued there, and then you just saw a spike? Just basically whenever you come in, you saw the spike, or is that?
Well, I kind of brought my own thing with us doing national accounts, and that was a whole separate deal from what Branco was used to doing. So that was a whole other source of income for them. And then steadily we hired project managers that specialized in different things like treatment plants, and then we hired MoDOT people and that kind of thing. So we kind of diversified. And, of course, with diversifying, the volume grows. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to remember what year it was. I was there probably, I'm guessing about 5 years. And John Branham came in and looked at my whiteboard in my office, and he goes, "When did we start working in North Carolina?" And he goes, "Well, we're really in North Carolina and North Dakota." I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "Huh." And I could see it. Something didn't set right with him. Huh. And he came in and he just didn't like us being that far out.
Really?
Yeah. He was just like, "Let's bring it in. And if you can run a job that far away, you can run it here in the 4-state area."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that means you're doing a good job if the owner of the company didn't even know where all of his stuff was. So that must mean he's not.
He wasn't.
He wouldn't happen to do much on it. So.
Yeah.
It seems like a weird. Was there a downside to working that far out? That he thought it was such a bad idea?
I think just the exposure and being so far away, but it worked for me. I mean, that's what I did, so it wasn't an issue for me.
You were just taking whatever jobs were. Somebody wanted you guys to do work in North Dakota. You're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like saying it was always chain. You get on a list with these chain, restaurants and businesses, and there's only a certain amount of contractors that are allowed to work for them. So
yeah, I lost my train of thought. What I was about to say right there.
I always wondered, like, whenever you guys do those out-of-state jobs, like how do you still beat other competition on price? Because you got to like rent equipment or haul it all up there. And I've always wondered. I was like, how in the world are they beating everybody on their price?
So what we do is I would go out there ahead of time and drum up. Like I'd go to the building department or the Chamber of Commerce and say, "Okay, who's your best subcontractors?"
Oh, okay.
And then I'd start talking to them, and because most of them, you go to some towns, especially 20 years ago or 23 years ago, and the internet people couldn't search you on the internet, so they were always like, "Why is this guy up here? Why is he not working in Missouri?" So anyway, you'd go out and put the personal touch on and meet them, that kind of thing. Tell them about who your company is and why you're doing it, and do it that way. And then also that was an edge for me because I'd get better bids than my competition because they'd be like, "Well, I didn't talk to this guy from Denver, or I didn't talk to this guy from California. I don't trust them. This guy from Missouri was honest." So we actually had what they used to call Sean's Black Book of deviant subcontractors that would travel. So they did the same thing. I mean, they knew what it took to do this job, and they wanted to make this much money, and they would load their trucks up, drive to wherever, and I mean, it was like a band of gypsies type of thing. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I was going to bring this up. I remember you forced me to go to Ardmore, Oklahoma, like my first week or whatever. And I remember I was just turned 18 or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go do this. I don't want to do this." And I remember I never told you this, but I lied to you about. I had cows and I had to take care of them. That was a total lie. Nice. But I'm glad you made me go to that, because after I went to that, I feel like I grew as a person.
Absolutely.
A whole bunch more. Yeah. But I'm glad you forced me to do that, because I didn't want to go. But
yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, "Man, I'm glad you made me do that. That means I'm getting old and doing something right." So
yeah.
But no, you'd be surprised how, and I knew the cow excuse was BS.
I figured you did after I said that, but I was like, "Oh man, I didn't want to go."
You'd be surprised how many people have cows that live in town and everything else. I gotta be home for my cows. Oh, really?
In my apartment complex.
Exactly. It's my pet cow. It's like Herbie. So, but yeah, I've heard every excuse in the book.
Yeah.
So
that was actually my favorite thing to go do after that, was go out of town, because you paid more, and I wanted to. I like to work all day long, so I get way more hours that way, and the per diem,
right?
So.
And you got to see something different.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Get out of your shell, too.
Yeah. I mean, get out and meet other people. When I was doing it, I never stayed still. I mean, when I'd go see, I'd cut cross country and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, and the pile of stuff that I drag home every now and then, you find all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And just talking to different people. And, I'm just, I guess, weird that way. But,
so that's how you got to where you are, networking.
Yeah. So. Don't go to fast food restaurants. You always find a local cafe, and eat there and just talk to people, find out what goes on in that area. So surprising, how many different things there are to do in areas where you would think there's nothing to do there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there any places that stick out as some of your favorite surprises that you found on trips like that?
I would have to say one of them was Mount Pleasant. Michigan was nice. It was just beautiful up there. I never expected it. Paw Paw, Michigan was another one. Rapid City, outside of just the touristy part, was another cool place. So I'll never forget when I went up there. I just bought my first farm. It was 40 acres, and I was young. I was probably 20, 21, 22. Mm-hmm. And the guy that was doing the sheetrock had a grill garden on it. It said Puckett Farms. And I was like, "Oh, you got a farm?" Yeah. I said, "So do I." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, how many acres you got?" I got 40. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I go, "How many acres you got?" And he had like 5,000. Talk about popping a guy's balloon. Like,
he goes, 5,000.
Yeah. That's the way he said it, too. Yeah. So this guy was kind of Yellowstone-ish, and I've never seen a show of it, but I've watched stuff on Facebook and that. But, the cowboy hat, the leather vest and all that, and his kids all worked for him, and he spent a week in town. And then he would go to the ranch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So he would stay in town, and you'd see him in the casino sitting there, pushing buttons or pulling levers and drinking beer. And
what else do you do with your money, I guess?
I guess. But he did redeem himself a little bit. He goes, "That's okay, boy." He said, "You can probably run as many cows on that 40 acres as I can on this ground up here."
Yeah. So, ain't no grass up there.
Exactly. So it was funny, though. Yeah. I'll never forget that.
Huh. Yeah. So do you think cows are something I should get into, or just stay with the rental houses and land and stuff like that?
Depends on if you need an excuse to go out of town or not. Yeah. Right now, if you were going to get into cattle, I would say get into them now, because the next 3 years we're going to see prices that made the last boom look like they were cheap.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know why. Everybody's just saying that. Everything I've read, and I read a lot because I don't sleep much, but I read that it's time to be bullish, is what they call it, with your cattle. So hold back your heifers and things like that when you're having calves born, because you need to have them for breeding, because it's going to be insane the next 3 years. So I hope so.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that market.
I see how that makes money and how it compounds, because you have a calf, and then that calf grows, and then it has calves, and you can go on from there and make money that way. But I didn't know if it was, a good thing to get into if you don't have like all the equipment or the farm already and stuff. I don't know how profitable it is.
Land is what'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've kind of, since I sold my farm down in Hurley, I've kind of got that property back as far as in size, just not there. But I mean, I've still got property down there, but having it all in one spot makes it incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
did you sell that place? We put that.
No, I've
we
still
put the
got
tent
that
on that barn.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I've still.
Is that still holding up?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still there. Sure is.
Yeah.
So, but the place across the street there, across the road, is the original farm that I lived in.
Oh, okay.
So that place and the acreage behind it, it was all in one spot. I mean, the road split it, but
yeah. Gotcha. Huh.
Is that the only two sources of income you got is Branco and farming?
Yeah, that's it.
How many hours of work do you think you work?
Oh my gosh, a week?
Or a week do you think you work? Yeah.
I'd say between the farm and Branco, probably, I'd say it'd be pushing 80.
There you go.
Any, like a pretty even split, you think, or?
Oh, no, I spend way more time at Branco on the farm. So,
Yeah.
And actually, as big as we've gotten, it's getting tougher to spend my time. So I'm trying to remedy that because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was just telling my wife the other day, yesterday, we were down taking hay to the cows in Hurley. And I said, I thought about getting rid of all this about a couple months ago. And then I thought, you know what? I've given up enough for work. I enjoy this. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It's good to enjoy something that makes you money.
It is. Yeah.
Do you ever struggle having a work-life balance with Branco and with that? Or is it?
Day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Get yelled at by your wife for not spending enough time with her or something?
No, because now that we don't have kids at home, she pretty well goes everywhere with me.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So she goes to, rides down there to check cows with me, or she rides with me. And when I have to go to Jeff City, when they're in session up there doing the governmental policy stuff for AGC, she goes to AGC conventions. She goes when I go out of town, like when we went to Washington, D.C., to meet with those folks up there for the AGC. She went with me. So.
What is AGC?
Oh, I'm sorry. Associated General Contractors.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Just a big group of
Trade
contractors get together and kind of decide how they want things done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
So definitely a good thing to be a part of.
So who's like Branco's main competition around here?
In my opinion, we don't have any, but I would say if I had to pick one person or one company that would be our main competition, it would probably be like I would have to say Nabholz would be our biggest competition. So
that's good. I haven't heard of them. So.
Yeah,
it sounds vaguely familiar, but I couldn't tell you.
They're huge. They're a very, very large company out of Arkansas that opened an office here, and they're good competition. I mean, they're not one of the bottom feeder types that drops the bottom out of everything. They're just good competition.
You think that's good for business?
It is good for business.
Yeah. So. You said when you started, you guys are at about 10 times the revenue for when you started. Were there anything that you think you were instrumental in bringing that up, or was that something that just kind of happened while you were there?
No, I mean I kind of go at everything 100 miles an hour. So whenever they turn, I would run. There was years when I was a project manager, I was running as much, or actually more myself, as the rest of them combined. I mean, there was no stop for me until they told me, okay, now you're going to have to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but, and I've been blessed in the fact that I've always been able to manage that well. I've never had any issue with it. So,
yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this or not, but so whenever you come to a job site, everybody on that job site instantly starts working way harder. they do. Everyone was led back off. Sean's here, and they would like. So how did you get that kind of respect? I never heard anybody say anything bad about you, but everybody always had some sort of respect for you whenever you showed up to the job site. Everybody. And
did you know that people were like that?
To an extent, yeah. A lot of it is because throughout the years, I'm not above doing what they're doing. I'll go out there, and I mean, it's a couple of years ago before I ended up getting sick with that cancer, and I haven't had time to get back into the swing of things because I got so far behind.
Yeah.
But I walked out on a bridge job they were doing, took a jackhammer and went to breaking concrete, and everybody's like, "Who is that?" And then once they figured out it was me, they're like, "Oh crap!" They're over there grabbing, trying to get it from me. I'm like, "Get away from me! I can do this just like you can."
Yeah.
And then at the office, when we were doing next door, I fired a dozer up and was pushing stuff around, and everybody's just running around looking. Holy crap!
Trying to stay as busy as they can.
Exactly. So, but no, I've never asked anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. Period. Yeah. So, or didn't do right along with them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Huh. No, I always thought that was cool, especially. Yeah, I run a extremely small business compared to what you do. Right. But it was just like. I always admired that. I was like, how in the world does he always... Everybody just respects him whenever he shows up. I always had the problem that, people would want to hang out and talk and stuff like that with me. Not that was a problem, but...
Well, if you notice, I'd make my way around and talk to everybody. Okay. So, for the most part, I mean, I always made sure that they knew that I cared about what they were doing. Yeah. I still do. I mean, everybody... So, a lot of times with that, the younger people get the wrong impression. They're like, oh, wow, that guy's got to be mean, So there was a bunch of young men from Neosho that had never been up here before working, and it was wintertime, and they're out there in their trucks, eating their lunch and stuff. And I'm like, why are they out there? So I went out there and got them. I'm like, guys, we've got a kitchen and a break room in here. Get in here and eat.
Yeah.
So it went from they were scared to death to walk in the door to, after a couple of weeks, they'd make sure that they come by, and instead of going the other way, they'd come by my office and stop and, hey, how you doing today? And blah, blah, blah. And I'd grab my lunch and go eat it with them. And
feel welcome there.
Yeah. And when they'd see the vice president of the company grab his lunchbox and go in there and eat the same thing they're eating, or a lot of times they were eating better than what I was eating just because I could get something quick,
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, this guy. And one of them even said, he goes, you're not anything like what I thought you'd be.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
So you think that kind of relationship is what makes employees care about the job?
It is. Yeah.
I'd say that seems like if you're just thinking about how businesses run, I can never figure out how it is people like McDonald's or Starbucks get their employees to care and how they can grow businesses without, with people who don't care about the job.
And they don't stay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the average tenure of our employees is 10 or 11 years, and we've gone from 40 years down to new hires. So the construction company, that's pretty rare.
That seems like it. Yeah, I would hate it.
And the thing is that if you're not going to be genuine with people, don't waste your time, because people see right through people that are fake. I mean, they just do, especially leaders. If a leader comes out and tries to awkwardly act like they're part of the club, it doesn't work.
Gotcha.
So,
have you seen people in the company that aren't there anymore who were like that, and you realized they weren't going to last?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like when you were had leadership above you and they were acting the same way?
No, really the only leader I ever had was John.
Okay.
So, yeah. And he's, like I said, I've got all the respect in the world for that guy.
Yeah.
So
he's got like, what was that factory in Neosho? It's like a cheese warehouse or something?
Well, yeah. He's
cheese warehouse.
He's the cheese king of Neosho. But no, he's got, he ended up buying Hayes Warehousing, which is warehousing. And then I can't remember the cheese company. It's down there. Schreiber or something like that is one of their tenants. So they have gotcha. They've got the warehouses down there that they store things in.
That's my favorite place to go work. They'd always have these bags of cheese you could try all day long. Yeah, it's like these cheese sticks. What are they, like 3 foot by 3 foot box cubes?
Don't they do that in that underground deal in Springfield? Because when I was in high school, I had a friend that his dad worked in there, and we'd go pick him up from after school because they only had one car in the whole family, and they'd have cheese samples and stuff in there, and inside these caves that look crazy like that.
You sure it was cheese?
I ate it, so I hope so. I like cheese. I hope it was cheese. Whatever it was good. I don't care.
Yeah, you're still here. So you're
Yeah. How old are you?
Going to be 53.
Do you have any plans for retirement from Branco, or is this you just go until the wheels fall off?
Oh, no. I'm going to get out of there while I've got time to enjoy and make room for somebody else to have my spot.
Anybody... obviously, you don't have to say it, but you got anybody that you got your eyes on in the company that you think would make would fill your shoes pretty well?
Well, that's part of my issue. I need to find that person and train them, because right now there'd be a huge hole if I left, and it would be bad for everybody.
Yeah, that's worth a lot of money.
True. So, but me seeing what I've helped build go forward and continue to be successful is more important. So it just is.
You think Cody'd fill your shoes pretty well?
I don't know. They look kind of small.
That's a no.
So usually what you should do is you should spend 10 years grooming your replacement. Is everything I've ever seen and read. And I've watched, a lot of larger companies and smaller companies, but I've sit back and watch, and all this. That's one thing about the Associated General Contractors. Is when you go to national conventions and things, you get to meet people from all over the country that do the same thing you do. Even in AGC, for our state, I mean, there's companies in Missouri that do billions of dollars worth of revenue a year.
Really?
I went up and testified on a bill last Tuesday night against a bill in front of the House of Representatives. And it was just a bad bill. It had to do with the contractor responsibilities for paying payroll for their subcontractors if they go default or just don't pay them or whatever. And you can be responsible up to 3 years. It's terrible. So anyway, I told them, went up and introduced who I was and the size of our company and years in business and why I thought it was a bad idea. And then one of the senators our representative said something to the effect of me being against it because I was a non-union contractor. And I said, I just so happen to have a union contractor that's going to testify after I'm done, and they do $4 billion worth of work a year. For that kind of,
I don't know. Yeah, kind of shut them up.
Yeah.
I don't know much about union or anything like that, but how do they get jobs? Because they have to bid so much higher than everybody else, I would think, just because their labor's higher.
They do and they don't. I mean, and anymore, there's not much difference between union and non-union. I mean, you've got your, and you know who they are, and I'm not going to name them. You've got your contractors that don't pay the same as the premier contractors, and how they get people to work for them, I don't know. Whether it has to do their upfront requirements, hiring on, whether they test them for certain things or not.
Yeah, gotcha.
Those kind of things. But pretty much, in our wages, we've had to adjust our wages considerably just to retain people and attract them to the industry, and it's right at scale anyway.
Really?
So,
and you don't have to pay the dues or anything like that. So,
and then when they work prevailing wage jobs for cities and states, and even federal prevailing wage, our guys are making quite a bit more than the union guys because they get to keep that. So they don't have to give it to the union. So the union gets the wage. The guys in the union get just the wage.
Gotcha.
The benefit part goes to their union.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I worked one union. I used to weld at Lauren Cook in Springfield, and that was a union job. And I really don't understand what the difference would have been had it. I never saw any special benefits or anything like that. I don't know what the difference really was.
The biggest thing they've got going for them is training. Which we have. So, and like I said, there was a time when it was, I can see where that was an absolute must because people were mistreating their employees horribly. The union served their purpose to fix that. But training, retirement, they do have outstanding insurance, those kind of things. So, I mean, it's just, you don't work for the union, you work for an employer, you're a member of the union. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as a union guy, a union contractor can go bid on a Casey's that, somebody like a Bailey Pile or a Base or whatever's bidding on. No, because they're not going to be competitive. Now, are they going to go bid a school or a treatment plant or whatever that we would bid on? Yeah, because we're all paying the same wage. The law says you cannot pay less than this wage.
Gotcha.
So it puts everybody on an even playing field.
Is there a favorite type of project you guys like doing the most?
The doing schools and stuff has gotten harder over the years just because of the unrealistic expectations that people have. But I would say, we love doing the MoDOT work that we do.
Yeah, that's pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
So that's probably pretty easy to delegate, isn't it?
Yeah, and used to be treatment plants were a great project for us, but the days of the $30 and $40 and $50 million treatment plants out there are over. But hopefully that'll change with the money that's coming out in the next year or two from the government. Aquatic parks, they're another thing that we like to do.
Yeah, you do quite a few of those, it seems like.
We kind of get away from the stuff that everybody else does, and that's when you can make a better profit and you can build relationships and get the reputation of being that guy. They do that. So I went up to the Missouri Parks and Rec convention, I'm trying to remember, 2 weeks ago, and we had a booth there and with the Hooray for Branco and the streaming video of the pool jobs and stuff like that. And it's amazed how many people are like, oh, yeah, that city director told me about you guys and that kind of thing. So,
that's got to feel good, doesn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's money in your pocket.
And what was funny was in the booth next to us, and we didn't set this up at all, were the aquatic designers that we normally work with. So their screen had pretty much the same pictures that ours.
Nice.
Because then the city people or the municipal people would come over and they'd be like, well, who did we talk to about design? And I'd be like, I don't know, maybe these guys.
Right next to you.
Just peek over the thing.
So, and then they do the same thing. They're like, oh, we've got you guys set up. Who you want us to look at these plans? And they're like, how about these guys right here? So that's pretty handy.
I figured the city just had to go with the lowest bid possible, but they actually can.
They can pick whoever they want.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they have a budget.
It's the lowest and most responsible bid. is the language in the statute for the state of Missouri.
Do you find the people, the individuals, to actually follow that?
It depends. Used to be a school would not, even if they knew the guy or the contractor, guy or gal or whoever that was low was a dirtbag and it was going to be trouble, they were scared to death to take that second bid, even though they knew it was not that much more and it was going to be way less headaches. Anymore, several of the last school jobs we've got from second and third place. So
they're doing some
matters.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't figure it'd be that way.
Yeah, no, it didn't used to be, but it is anymore.
I mean, that's a good thing.
It is a good thing, yeah.
Because you always have that guy that'll go in there and lowball everyone, and it look like crap at the end of it.
And that hurts everybody, doesn't? I'd imagine
it does. It hurts the school. It hurts the taxpayers. It hurts the people working on the job. It hurts all the subcontractors that the guy duped into working for him. So yeah, it's just a mess. Just
to say you got work coming in.
Yeah.
Do you ever do you find it important to have like a mentor or a coach throughout your career, or have you ever had one?
I've had several. I'm one of those guys that kind of listens to everything everybody has to say. You know, whether they be shoveling in a ditch or whatever, because I'm sure that the guy shoveling a ditch knows a way to do it better than I know how to do it. And there's going to come a day when I'm going to be shoveling in a ditch at the farm or whatever, and I'm probably going to want that good idea, but. No, I mean, I've just had several through the years. I mean, if we want to go back as far as I can remember, I had a neighbor that was some kind of a foreman at Monsanto company that knew how to do just about everything. And he was a mentor up front, taught me the importance of knowing how to do a little bit of everything. My grandpa was another one, my dad. And then in the business end of it, there was several superintendents I worked with that were older when I first started that kind of took me under their wing and showed me what to do and what not to do and how to actually, several of them taught me how to get along with everybody without being the young kid. So nobody ever even looked at me as the young kid because I never acted like one.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, John Branham was a mentor of mine. But in the last, I'd say it's probably the last 5 or 7 years or so, I've kind of switched that role where I'm trying to be the mentor. So on all fronts.
Well, now you can. I mean, you got a big company underneath your belt, and you can you can show people that you know how to do it. So
well, and what's funny is the guys that come into the office early in the morning and see that I'm already there when they get there, and then when they come in the evening, they're like, "You're still here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And one of the younger guys, he's probably 20. He can't be too far out of high school, 21 maybe. He's like, I figured that the boss could come and go whenever he leaves. He goes, "You're always here." He goes, "Do you ever get off?" I go, "No, not very often."
Yeah.
So he goes, "That's not the way I had it pictured." I go, "Me neither." So.
I wouldn't be doing this if I knew it was going to be like this.
Exactly. Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people always think, they're like, oh, the boss never going to work. And that's the guy who was constantly there.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be the boss man, I guess. If they weren't good at doing the work.
Never shuts off. I mean, it's always an email or a text or a phone call, and it's somebody always wants something. They're not calling to say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, here it is Sunday at 3:00, and you're still basically working for Branco. You know? You're promoting it right now. So. Yeah. It's I don't know why people get that thought in their head that
too much TV.
Yeah,
they see the Home Alone movies and stuff like that, and the guy gets to go take the big expensive vacations with his family because he's an executive and that kind of thing. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it does every once in a while. You don't ever get to go on vacation?
No, not very often.
What's the point of doing all the work then?
True. I wondered that. My wife reminds me of that all the time. She's like, you get about a month's vacation or a month and 2 weeks every year, and you take like 3 days. And that's to cut hay.
I think I saw on your wife's Facebook a while back or something. It was right as you got the cancer or something, and you were sick one day in bed, and she was... Like, that was a big deal because that was the first time you missed work in like 10 years or something like that.
Well, and through this whole thing, actual days missed of work, I missed 6 days.
6 days in how many years?
No, this was just for the cancer.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no, I had a heart attack 10 years before I had the cancer, and I had it on a Thursday and was in the office on a Monday morning.
There you go.
Yeah.
So is that what you think the key is to growing a big business, is just constantly working hard on it? Or
it is. You've got to constantly be figuring out a way to be better. Okay. And if you stand still for very long, there's 3 others there to take your place.
Gotcha.
And I have trouble communicating that message in the organization sometimes because they think, oh, we got all this work. We're great. No, you're not. You've got to keep moving forward, keep doing what you're doing, keep getting out and talking to people, keep going to all these events, keep being in front of people all the time. Because, I mean, think about just since you were at Branco, Nabholz has established a better position in town than they were. KCI's moved to town, which I don't expect that to last. Trying to think. McCown Gordon's looking to open an office in Springfield. Whiting Turner's opened an office in Springfield. And these are all huge companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy. So, and not only are you're playing against a whole different level of contractor. So you got to be on your A game all the time.
Yeah. Did you guys have a shot at the Amazon?
No, didn't want one.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
Who did that?
That was just a bunch of subcontractors working for Whiting Turner. But,
I figured everybody was trying to get on that one.
no,
Really? Why is that?
The damages on it. The damages, if you didn't finish when they said, were staggering. So,
I forgot about those until you said that. Yeah, isn't it if you're late a day or something, they charge you by the day?
Right. Now, on some of our MoDOT jobs, it's by the minute if you're late. Like $7,000 a minute.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't have a job open when it's supposed to, or a road open when it's supposed to, for MoDOT, if it's a busy road, it goes the first hour is X amount, and then after that, it's so much a minute. So yeah,
I guess that's motivation.
Yeah, they're serious about it.
Have you ever gone over that by a significant amount and lost a lot of money for the company
for
that
them,
way?
I haven't. No. I mean, we've had a few jobs throughout the 90 years that I'm sure we've got damages on, but I can't remember them. I'm trying to think. Of course, another breath of fresh air. We just got the job for the Shepherd of the Hills hatchery down there
In Branson?
in Branson, and we did the last work down there, but we got this one. It's a welcome center, a bunch of other stuff, and the damages are $6,500 a day that you're late beyond the schedule. But on the other side, if you beat the schedule, this first time I've seen this in a long time, they're going to pay you $6,500.
That's
Really?
a good deal right there.
You can put Colton on that job.
Him or somebody like him.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's I mean, you'd be money ahead to just say, okay, superintendent, every day you're done, you get X amount of dollars in your pocket.
Didn't Colton finish that sidewalk job in Joplin like 6 months early or something crazy like that?
No, we were 6 months late starting, and he still finished it on time.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I know he was hustling on that
Oh,
job.
yeah. No, that was a train wreck thanks to our ex-project manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He was notorious for starting jobs late, not getting done on time. But he's one of those companies I mentioned problem now. So good luck to him.
Yeah, I remember we were on that job, or I was on that job for a little bit, and he'd be like, this sidewalk here, we're going to tear it out and it'll be poured back tonight. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? They're like, this is a lot. He hustles.
Yeah, and he works too.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah, no, he's a dandy employee.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess he's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Wanna
letting
keep
him go
around.
anywhere. Yeah, he's going to go far. So,
Yeah.
he's one that'll just move right on up and keep moving up.
Yeah.
So,
Seems like a pretty smart guy, too.
yeah, he is. So, and quite a story. So,
Oh, really?
just from his childhood to where he's at, just an amazing guy.
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah, you won't get him to hold still that long. Though.
Yeah.
We'll just take this at a stand. You can
I wouldn't
walk
want to get in
around
a fight with him. The guy's built like a tank.
Oh yeah, yeah, he'd be a handful.
Yeah.
So,
Is Rick still on the bridge crew?
oh yeah,
Yeah. I used to talk to him all the time. I haven't talked to him in a little while, but
he's pretty busy with grandkids.
oh, is he?
Yeah, he's going all over to wrestling matches and everything else like that. So, yeah, he's busy with the grandkids.
I don't know any of these people. I didn't work with Branco.
Yeah.
I do notice, it may just be because I've known him forever and he worked there, but I do see the Branco logo all over the place. Sometimes you'll be in Springfield, some construction site, you see a shipping container with it on it, or like one of those portable office buildings. You just see the logo kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
How long did it take to build that office there off of, is that MM, I guess that is, in Republic?
That was, so when I became an owner, I kind of pushed extra hard to not have to go to Neosho every day. So we rented an office on Republic Road and outgrew it immediately, right across from Harder House. It was in that office complex. And everybody was mad because we had superintendents with trailers parking out front, taking up 10 parking spots.
Yeah.
They just didn't like it. So we ended up finding this property out here and buying it. And then a year later, we put the office up. So
How long ago did you guys buy it?
I think we bought it 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago.
I bet it's worth a lot more right now.
That was a great real estate investment.
No, it was, the guy that was supposedly our business development guy at that time told us what a bad idea it was to buy that piece of property. And I'm like, I don't think so. And John was like, yeah, no, we're gonna buy that.
That's gonna be the best spot in Republic pretty soon.
Oh yeah,
right where you're at. Yeah. Amazon just built right there, and they're getting all those strip malls right next to you too.
Is that Republic or is that Brookline address, or what's the difference?
That's Republic annexed Brookline.
Oh.
So the only Brookline is the little post office and like 4 or 5 streets. That's about it.
I always was confused. I used to, right out of high school, I mowed for Republic Parks Department, and we mowed that little post office all the time. And I was like, why are we doing this? It's way out here, and I didn't even think anybody used it.
Oh, no. Yeah. Actually, it's pretty handy for us if we needed to get certified mail to send a letter to a sub or something. It's right up the road. Go up there and don't have to go into Republic and stand in line. You walk in and they normally know what we're there for. They get the little green card out. There you go, fill it out. So, but yeah, no, it's pretty handy.
Do you own the property? I guess it'd be south of that too.
South.
That may not even be the right direction.
Towards Republic?
Towards the railroad tracks.
Oh yeah.
That's east. Yes.
Oh yeah, it's kind of at an angle, I guess.
Okay.
So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good spot.
It is a good spot.
Any plans for it?
It depends on what they're doing across Farm Road 148. I understand that they've got a conglomeration of 400 acres there or such that borders MM, the railroad track, and there's something big getting ready to happen there. And if that happens, then I might sell the whole thing.
Retire early.
When they come knocking on the door for more property.
Yeah. So, but that's going to be huge if that actually goes through for the City of Republic. So
you're talking about on the inside of the curve where it goes along the railroad track?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, I'm talking about behind. So our office sits here, and Farm Road 148's here.
Yeah.
And this property where they used to have the zebras and all that crap out there.
Uh-huh.
With the big steel fence around it.
Uh-huh.
That place going back towards 44.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you own that entire place?
Not that I don't.
Oh,
no.
Gotcha.
But
no.
So you're saying
but it's right across the road from me.
Yeah.
So
you personally own that land where the office is on?
No. Myself, John, and Justin Branco own it, and
Yeah,
then we lease it back to Branco.
Perfect. Just make more money.
Yeah, it works. But and plus, it's just good business to not have everything in one spot.
Yeah.
So
same with the storage units. Is that a Branco deal or is that just?
That's a whole separate deal. Okay. Property sale and whole thing. So
awesome. Yeah, I saw you building that over there. I was like, man, that's a awesome spot. And it's probably the best looking storage place in town too, I would think.
Yeah, that's Scott and Valerie Gayer's brainchild. They're out of Willard. So
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Huh.
Where at? What storage units?
Right next to the office.
Oh, I guess I haven't noticed storage. I don't drive by there that often, I guess.
Yeah.
Sits right next to their office there.
Yeah, I know I'll be glad when they 4-lane or 5-lane it. I actually hear this fall they're going to start on it.
That would be a huge project right there, that road.
Mm-hmm. It'd be nice because so the rule at the office is because we all get there early in the morning at the Springfield office, and the rule is you have to leave by 4:30 or wait till 5:15 or 5:30 because otherwise you're going to sit there from 5 to 5:15 just waiting to get out of there.
Really?
It's that bad. And if one of the semis happens to be there late in the afternoon, you might as well just park it and come in and have a cup of coffee. You're not going anywhere. So, yeah.
This is a little bit of a different, but it's a question I got written down. It's kind of interesting. My girlfriend actually wrote most of these questions. She said she was curious about it.
I was wondering if that was your handwriting or not.
She has a business where she does coaching for like people starting cleaning companies because that's what she has. And so she's always trying to hear about how people got successful and how people grew businesses. Was there ever like a time where you fought really hard for something in Branco that you thought was a good idea and turned out to be a bad idea, and you kind of had to own up to that?
As far as an operational idea, no, not really. A lot of my ideas that were not agreed to were figured out to be the right way. They probably should have listened, but I guess I would have to say I have put my trust in a lot of people I shouldn't have put it in. So, and
have you since then learned what the mistake was there and how not to do that from again, or did you just get duped and you don't know what happened?
No, that's happened once in my entire career. If I got duped and didn't know how it happened or didn't even see it coming. But normally whenever there's something like that going on, you're going to smell it, start cooking. And then whether it be an employee or a subcontractor that you're trying to help, it's just, I would have to say that would be the one thing. If I had to put my finger on something, it had more to do with putting too much trust in people or another company. That sounds
like a hard course to navigate there, trying to find out what people are going to do in the future and how they're going to act.
Yeah, it's extremely hard. And then the good side of you, and the even if you're a Christian or not, I'd always say the Christian part of you is to help people, but you've got to still not be a doormat, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say that was the main thing would be trusting some people I shouldn't have trusted. So,
well, I guess it's good that you learned from it.
I did learn from it. Well, one of them was a pretty expensive mistake.
Really? Is that something you can talk about?
Oh, no, I'd rather not. But
how long ago? I mean, was it something way in the past?
Oh, no, it wasn't that long ago. So, but
still fresh.
Still fresh. So, but things worked out the way I figured for that person. So,
I don't think I've really ever screwed anybody over as far as I can remember in any kind of work.
Yeah, it was a downhill slide from him on several levels. So,
dude,
I may have helped him along a little bit after I figured out what he was doing.
Helped him go on down.
Yeah, I may give you a little pat on the back like this.
So, if he was watching this, would he know who you were talking about?
Oh, he absolutely knows. Guaranteed. He sure does.
Great.
Enjoy your parents' basement.
So on the equipment side of things, whenever you guys are buying equipment, do you is it better to just go pay cash for it and it's yours, or do you guys normally
depends on the financing rates? Those days are over for quite a while.
Yeah.
But no, it's better just to go pay cash for it.
Okay.
And then charge yourself for it. Then
you
take that money and put it back to go buy your next piece.
Yeah. We do you know Mitchell Roberts by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that. But
you're the second guest who come on here who had no clue to know him.
Me and him went to a class in Georgia, and it was he was a guy who run a lawn care.
It's him and I.
Sorry. But we went to a class in Georgia, and it talked about how to charge yourself for the equipment. And you have the depreciation on it and the gap of what it's going to cost to buy it new later. And that was something I didn't really
well, and plus
know.
You've got money to maintain it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that, I didn't see why we did that when I first started as a young man, and John explained it to me, and I'm like, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So, and don't ever rob your company. He had, like I said, he was a good business mentor. He really was. So don't rob the company, keep money in it. It keeps your bonding rate up, carries you through hard times with your people. You don't lay people off. You find something for them to do and pay them. And yeah.
And you don't have to make the short-term expense deal to, where if you can have money carry you, you don't have to
beg for it.
Pay short fees or something like that.
Yeah, or go ask for it. Because normally if you're needing money, times are bad and means interest rates are up. And these interest rates are going to bite a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be my age by the time you see what we saw a couple years ago on interest rates.
Yeah.
It'll never be there. It'll be a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what the reason I asked you that is because I'll buy a house and then I'll pay it off, and then the land I'm working on getting it paid off, it's almost paid off, and then I got these two houses on loans, but I didn't know if I think it's better to save up, buy the property cash, or Go ahead and get the loan, let the renter pay it off,
yeah.
and then fork it over.
As far as rental properties, and I used to do some of that, but I just didn't have the patience or the temperament to be a landlord.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do there, tax-wise purpose, I found, is to get a loan and let the rent pay it back, and then pay yourself a service fee and a maintenance fee and a management fee. And
Yeah. Okay.
So,
That's how you make sure you're making money, not working for free.
absolutely. Yeah, because you can have all the assets in the world and not have $1 in the bank.
Yeah.
And be borrowing money to fill your gas tank up and everything else. But boy, look what I've got on paper.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you see that from a lot of the internet guru guys are like, refinance it, go buy another one, go buy another one, and go buy another one. I'm like, I get it's great to say your net worth's this, but
that's not your net worth because you don't own a dadgum thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather sleep on a pile of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that sounds pretty lumpy and uncomfortable. I don't know.
But you just put one of those memory foam covers over it.
Yeah.
So. Help you sleep a little better that way.
But I mean, one of the first red flags that comes up to me is whenever you see a new contractor, a new subcontractor roll up in a $100,000 diesel pickup and all their equipment's new and their house is huge and things like that. It's just like, this guy, we're going to have to watch him.
Yeah.
And it normally goes the way I figured. Yeah.
I guess that's something that comes with just seeing it happen over and over again. You just kind of know what to look for.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I did that, but I'm not doing it anymore. That also says
you got the nicest truck you ever had out in the driveway right now.
Yeah. But I got lucky because everything I bought new went up in value. That was about the only time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen again, but I bought all that stuff new 2 or 3 years ago, and then I actually sold it for more than what I paid for it.
Yeah.
And it was used, but that was
There's
probably
a lot
luck.
of people made a lot of money going out of business during this mess.
Yeah.
Made more money going out of business than they would have made staying in business.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, personally, you know me, my house is reasonable. I mean, it's nice and I've got a nice shop and all that, but my truck, my personal truck's a 62 Chevrolet 1-ton. And I mean, that's just who I am. I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
So,
I see you drive that thing through town all the time.
Usually with round bales on.
Yeah.
Did you drive it here?
No, I drove a different truck today.
Oh, that's what I was going to. Why do you got the maroon truck versus a red one?
We're actually thinking about switching to maroon, but it's always that the executive part of Branco drove the maroon trucks just to differentiate them. So
gotcha.
So
I
everybody
figured
knows
that's
to
kind of why
smarten
you
up.
done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, every other truck's red and his is
Red,
maroon.
But actually, several of our field vehicles here now are maroon.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I haven't noticed that.
Is that like
If you look around, you've got Williams's red trucks, Coca-Cola trucks are red all over the place. I'm trying to think of who else has red trucks. Ramsey has red trucks.
Yeah.
You think it's a good branding deal?
It is. I mean, people look for the red trucks and then they get disappointed when they see that it's a Coke truck or a Ramsey truck or something. Not disappointed, but they're expecting it to be a Branco truck.
Yeah.
So if you go to the whatever color this truck is, the race red or ready red or whatever, then they're like, oh, so there's not. I don't know anybody that has those color trucks. Yeah,
I see those Ramsey trucks. They got that green on red, and I'm like, man, that looks terrible. It's like a green magnet that's on sideways half the time. Yeah,
blows off in the wind or something, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought that color scheme looked.
That was one of the first things I did at Branco when we got company trucks was, and how far we've come in company trucks because we didn't have them at first.
Yeah,
and then my first company truck was a Dodge Dakota, long bed, 2-wheel drive. 4-speed, didn't want the overdrive, didn't want to pay extra for that. Rubber floor mat, vinyl seat, no air, AM radio, crank down windows. Yeah. But the sticker on the side of them was reminiscent of that. I mean, it looked like a bumper sticker on the side of it. And I'm like, so we started buying nicer trucks, half-ton trucks and this, that, and the other, and then some 3/4-ton trucks. And I'm like, we've got to come up with a new logo for the side of the trucks. That looks terrible on those trucks. Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, that, and it's kind of evolved, but, yeah, it was like a piece of white paper with Branco and a bunch of graph paper over there. And the B has always been the same, but The rest
It used to be, wasn't it Branham Brothers or something like that?
Branham Brothers.
When did it switch to Branco?
I think the full switch was like in 73 or 5, something like that, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, do you have you got any advice for us or for this or personal advice to any mistakes we could avoid?
Anything?
you know, I'm trying to think. I don't know what you do, but I know what you do. Except let your girlfriend write notes for you.
Well, I was doing sales for a little while, but I stopped working for that company because I think they were doing some kind of shady things. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first guy I worked for was about as shady as they come, which I didn't like it then, and that's why I quit. But it was actually awesome because that just gave me a whole level of understanding of how people can stick it to you.
Yeah.
Because if there was a way to do it, I figured out how he did it.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was like, yikes. I would just, kind of, I guess the thing I would have to say is listen to what people have to say. Be compassionate but firm with people. Save your money. I know that. That's a good one. Always make sure you've got a bankroll.
Okay.
A guy with a bankroll can do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And just be careful who you let in your circle of friends. They say that the 5 people that you hang out with the most influence you in the way you act.
Yeah,
So,
you'll be the 6th, whoever the 5 is that you hang out with.
Yeah.
I've heard that, or something around those terms. It's
right. So if you hang out with people that are doing things that are bad, you're going to end up doing something that's bad more than likely. So, yeah, surround yourself with good people.
Well, that sounds like good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Sean, thanks for coming on. So
thanks for having me.
Or where do people get a hold of you usually? Or is there some kind of graphic we can put over your head right now where people can get a hold of
Not really.
Branco?
Just go to branco.com and
Yeah.
shoot a message and tell me what you're thinking. But a lot of people, like I said, I can't go anywhere without somebody knowing me, so they know how to get a hold of me usually. But branco.com is a good way to start.
Okay.
yeah, if you need a school built or something like that.
School, storage building, bridge,
Water park,
water park, need cattle advice, antique tractor advice.
Yeah, there you go. Do a little Oliver branding there.
It's too bad they're not doing
I was going to say, I don't think it's going to help them.
yeah, they've long since figured that out. So, but anyway, guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like that, we've got a lot more content on Patreon. It's patreon.com/DTMWFI. We got behind-the-scenes content. We got early access stuff. We've got videos that are exclusive to Patreon that we won't post on YouTube. We got tons of stuff like that.
Yeah, and we've also got pages on TikTok and Instagram. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.